morning. Come on in, like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hit the like button as you come in. Thanks for tuning into Let's Talk About It Media 1. Of course, we're going to talk hot topics, trending topics. We're going to get into a few different things. But thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Like the video as you guys come in. We're going to get straight into the videos. Let me do my disclaimer. And then we're going to get straight into what we talked about. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate everyone for being here. All comments are alleged, period. Please hit the like button, period. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comma, comments, comma, news reporting, comma, teaching, comma, scholarships and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. All right, the disclaimer's up. Okay, so we're going to get straight into the news. What's being talked about? What's going on? I've been trying to update you guys as much as I can, and then we're going to get into some hot topics, trending topics. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. I appreciate everyone for being here this morning. I appreciate it. Like the videos you guys come in.
Incredible place, and literally, I've made Washington D.C. just an incredible place. In literally 4 days, I have friends that say they're going out to dinner. Did you see what's happening with the restaurants? They're bursting. They're all closing and going bankrupt.
That is President Trump on making D.C. safe again. The DOJ has some numbers to back him up. Take a look. 52 arrests just yesterday. A total arrests of 465 in just less than 2 weeks here. As some seem to realize they're losing on this issue. Yeah, as a soft on crime issue, accusations pile up. An article in The Hill is titled "Democrats Face Challenge in Countering Trump on Crime." An excerpt reads this: Washington residents still feel like crime is too high and too pervasive. From a raw political perspective, you never want to give your political opponent an opening to address a real concern that your constituents have. Wow. That appears to be exactly what's happening here, and even some in the liberal media are now finally admitting to it.
There has been a problem in D.C., and it's not as safe as the nation's capital should be.
Look, I mean, there is a crime problem everywhere. I mean, in multiple cities. Big cities have traditionally had crime problems. There are a lot of people who feel unsafe in big cities. And even more from two of America's most liberal publications, The Atlantic, with "Trump is right that D.C. has a serious crime problem," and a New York Times opinion piece now noting many D.C. residents are secretly glad to see more uniforms. No matter what statistics say, they don't feel safe. Joe Concha, Fox News contributor, joining me now. Joe, as someone who used to live in D.C. and ran 2 years ago out of D.C. because of crime, this issue is driving me crazy when I hear people try to make the argument that there's nothing to see here. And here's where we are now in this saga. This is Byron York in the Washington Examiner, putting it perfectly here with his headline: D.C. crime and the "Trump is bad, but he's right" effect. That is in full swing. At least for the moment, fewer and fewer are claiming that crime is going down. It was always slightly ridiculous for Democrats to argue that crime in the district is just not serious enough for federal intervention. Now, at least, there is some agreement that the problem really exists. So what happened, Joe? Why did they finally come around?
Well, it reminds me of what we saw during inflation during the Biden administration, Aisha, where first we were told it was transitory, then we were told it was the Putin price hike, and then finally when Democrats and those allies in the media admitted that, yeah, above 9% inflation is a bad thing, they also would make the argument at the same time that, well, Americans don't really understand about the economy, and they really don't understand how good they have it. In other words, you're not feeling what you're feeling, and you're not seeing what you're seeing on your bank statements, for example. The same thing with crime in Washington, D.C. You lived there, I lived near there years ago. It's always
Good morning. As you guys come in.
Major problem where you do not want to go out after the sun goes down in most areas of that city. And now we're seeing that stat you shared was incredible. 465 arrests in 12 days. That's about 40 arrests per day that otherwise would not have happened. Overall, the numbers are the numbers. 9 in 10 D.C. residents, I should say, that crime is a serious problem in the district. So when Democrats try to downplay these feelings and tell people that things are only getting much better, it's insulting to everyone's collective intelligence.
Exactly. But it doesn't stop people from trying to fact check the White House and its administration. This started a couple of days ago with the Washington Post here. I want to put this up. They said that they tracked where Trump's forces were actually patrolling in D.C., and they said that it's not happening where the crime actually is. Well, fact is, the White House came out, and Axios also reported it, that 48% of non-immigration related arrests during Trump's D.C. takeover actually happened in two of the most crime-hit areas, wards 7 and 8. It is happening in the most high crime areas. I mean, what is the obsession with trying to find some numbers here and there and trying to prove your point when, like you said, everyone that lives here either knows someone that has gone through it or feels like it's not safe?
And I have a feeling, Aisha, we're not going to see an apology from Peter Baker of the New York Times, and good job by Axios, than actually doing some homework here and showing the stats and actually putting out the facts. And we're also seeing on social media, just in terms of like putting out numbers that are completely ridiculous. So throughout social media, and this is based on local news reports, saying that reservations at restaurants are down 25% from a year ago. And the argument that people are making on the left is that, well, people don't want to go to restaurants because of a National Guard presence. The only problem is that reservations are down from a year ago last week because in 2024, it was DC Restaurant Week during that week. It happens every year, whether you're in Washington, New York City, Hoboken, New Jersey, more people eat out during that week than any other week during the year. So yeah, you're going to get a spike in reservations. And if you compare it to a year ago, you're going to see a drop. I guarantee you, because show this, Aisha, you're a social butterfly. It's DC Restaurant Week this week in 2025, and you're going to see a big jump in reservations. I want to see the follow-up reports now showing that, wow, reservations are up 25% than they were a year ago. I have a feeling we're not going to see that because that would take actual honesty and actual homework. Aisha.
Also, who thinks the National Guard is scary? Like, these are young men and women here to protect us. Like, they're here to help. That's the entire mission of the National Guard. It's actually baffling that people are scared. Joe, I love having you on. Hope to have you on again.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian
Like
Kelly.
the video, fair use, reaction clip. Like the video, fair use, reaction clip.
All of the people, all of the time. Donald Trump taking this afternoon proof of an age-old principle that you can fool some of the people all of the time and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot. You cannot fool all of the people all of the time. Donald Trump, take notes, because right now the American people are mad at you. Call it a reckoning if you want. Not just for Trump, but for those lawmakers who've hitched their wagons to the MAGA movement. Tomorrow will make it 7 months since Trump's second term began. I know it feels like 11 years. His report card, though, is so bad it's going to need a signature from a parent. Overall, according to Pew, his approval rating is in the dumps, with just 38% of all Americans on his side. That compares to 60% who disapprove of Donald Trump's performance as president. It's a near record low for him. On tariffs, which are the signature tool of his economic masterminding, he's 23 points underwater on tariffs. On foreign policy, amid the pomp and circumstance, amid a flurry of meetings with European leaders, Trump is 14 points underwater right now. And on his administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein controversy, largely ginned up by his own coalition and base of core supporters, Pew says just 25% of all Americans approve of how he's handling that. And it compares to 70% who do not approve of how Donald Trump is handling the Jeffrey Epstein files. Before you write any of that off as a small matter, go beyond the numbers. Look at what elected Republicans are hearing about the so-called Epstein files. This is from Wyoming. Wyoming is a state Donald Trump won by nearly 50 points a few months ago.
I don't know if that vote's going to come up on the floor, but what a lot of people don't realize is that's for the courts to decide.
So you're not going to give us an answer on
It is for the courts to decide. Those files are sealed. It is for the courts to decide whether the files can be released. It is a separation of powers issue. It is for
grand jury transcripts aren't going to get released, right?
I can't.
There seems to be a lot of sentiment in the House, on the right and the left, to see what's in those Jeffrey Epstein files. Do you support the release of those files?
I support it. It's up to the courts to decide. It is up to the courts to decide.
Thank you.
It's up to the courts to decide. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's cute when MAGA is for judges after they're against them and then for them again. That was Congresswoman Harriet Hageman. She replaced Liz Cheney, being called a sycophant by her own constituents. Here's more from her town hall.
We know we have mail-in ballots. My question to you was, how do you feel personally of stripping Americans of those foundational tools of mail-in ballots? Mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots are not foundational tools.
You just said you have to protect it, but it's not foundational.
Exercising your right to vote without a mail-in ballot. You are absolutely fully capable of exercising your
state, Trump won by almost 50 points. It is hard to find a non-Republican person in Wyoming. And that's how her town hall went. And it's just the latest example of a Republican lawmaker being confronted by her constituents. It's certainly not an isolated incident, though, especially when voters turn on the TV and see stuff like this. A federal and militarized takeover of Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, in the name of stopping crime, or masked federal agents in the name of ICE, handcuffing and seizing, sometimes violently, people off the streets in American towns and cities, big and small. And while the Trump administration, in its own way, has celebrated these images, Christine Ohms said she loves watching ICE videos, the American people do not feel the same way. A new Reuters poll shows this, quote, just 42% of respondents approve of Trump's performance on crime, and 43% thought he was doing a good job on immigration policy. On all policies, Trump's support came overwhelmingly from Republicans. So again, what about those Republican allies in Congress? Watch what happened to Congresswoman Elise Stefanik in Plattsburgh, New York yesterday, inside her own district, as she reportedly considers a run for New York governor.
Our Congresswoman from New York 21, Elise Stefanik.
That's what it sounded like outside the government center building in Plattsburgh Monday. Stefanik stepped up to address the crowd twice. Both times, the protesters booed her.
The Trump agenda and getting booed off stage, twice for Ms. Stefanik at least, is where we start today with some of our favorite experts and friends. Fox News chief political columnist, MSNBC national affairs analyst John Howman is here. Also joining us, the host of the Fast Politics podcast, Vanity Fair special correspondent, MSNBC political analyst Molly Jong-Fast, fresh off a triumphant appearance on the Bill Maher program. And to round out our panel, host of the Bulwark podcast, MSNBC political analyst Tim Miller is here as well. Let me start with you, Tim Miller, on we have data, and as Matt Dowd says, when you have data and you can match it with anecdotal evidence of people having intense enough feelings, one, to show up at town hall, and two, to express their animosity, it's information, right? It doesn't predetermine the outcome of any election. It's not suggesting that Trump won't regain popularity or rise in the polls, but it is more than a snapshot 7 months in. And to me, it illustrates something that I worried about in the first few weeks, that the freneticism would read as energy and work in progress. It seems that at month 7, the freneticism and chaos are clearly not matched with the perception that the results are what people are for. What is your sense of where Trump is in this moment?
I think that's right. And look, it's not like he's in free fall. You don't want to overstate it, but for a lot of voters, they're not seeing the change in the economic circumstances that they want. And then certain types of voters have complaints about certain types of things that he's been doing. That in some cases upsetting his own base on issues like Epstein. In some cases upsetting, the kind of libertarianish independent voters with the immigration regime. In some cases, just more of his non-political voters who are hoping groceries would go down, and they've gone up. And so you kind of have this confluence of factors of the political winds moving away from him. I mean,
Good morning. Like the videos, you guys come in. Thanks for being here.
I promised myself I was not going to obsess over polls in 2025. Like, we're a long way away from the next election. We've had a few poll misses recently, but the dramatic nature of some of those numbers, no matter how, maybe they are off by 10, 15 points, and even still Trump would be underwater on a lot of these issues, including Epstein, including immigration, including the economy. And then if you look at the situation in Wyoming there, my co-panelist John Howland will know the one place in Wyoming where you can find a Democrat, that's Jackson Hole. I was quickly looking at Google Maps here while you were talking to see how close we were to Jackson Hole in that town hall. It was about a 2-hour drive, so she was in real Wyoming, okay? She wasn't in the ski towns. Yeah. She was in Pinedale in real Wyoming, getting shouted down about Jeffrey Epstein, about the big beautiful bill, etc. And I'm sure there are a couple of Democrats in Pinedale, but I think that speaks to the fact that there's unhappiness out there that is cross-partisan in the country.
It's interesting to me, John Howman, that some of the newest pieces of the Trump coalition seem to be his weakest. You've got, let me just read this. Reuters has Hispanic voter support showing, let me just read it. The latest poll showed Hispanics, a group that swung toward Trump in last year's election, have soured on the president. Some 32% approve of his performance in the White House, matching their lowest level of approval for Trump this year. And then the much ballyhooed manosphere, here's Joe Rogan on how he feels about how immigration's going.
It was a visceral reaction that a lot of people had to the idea of people just showing up and pulling people out of schools and pulling people out of Home Depot and pulling people that were just hardworking people that maybe snuck over here because they didn't have a legal way to get over here. But since they've been here, they've been good people and they're a part of communities. And that's what freaks people out, because when people thought about ICE, they thought, great, we're going to get rid of the gang members. They didn't think, great, you're going to get rid of a landscaper.
How to tackle $40,000.
Like the video, you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please hit subscribe and thank you.
Your thoughts?
Well, you're putting your finger on the most important thing, Nicole. I mean, and I'm just going to try to like connect a few of these dots. Tim just said that Trump is not in free fall. He's not in free fall. He's been underwater in terms of his net approval rating, approval, disapproval, since the middle of June. Okay, and it's been pretty constant. It bumps up and down a little bit, but he's been net negative underwater for 2 solid months. On all of the issues that he was strong on inflation and the economy, he was strong on coming into office on inflation and the economy. That's the first place he went underwater on the issue. He went underwater on that issue in February. He went underwater on trade. He went underwater on trade in March. The only big issue that he didn't go underwater on for a long while was immigration. And in the middle of June, he went underwater on immigration. His immigration numbers did tank, in fact, in June. That number tanking is part of why that's the moment when he overall went underwater, because immigration was the strongest issue he had. And to point to the thing that you just mentioned, one of the groups that he suddenly has where the bottom has fallen out. The bottom has fallen out for him with a lot of Hispanic voters who were crucial to his victory in 2024. And a lot of Hispanic voters had the same attitude as Joe Rogan right there, which was they were, to the surprise of some on the left, they wanted to see the border closed, and they're perfectly fine with seeing criminal gang members, actual criminal gang members, actual people who are doing harm to anyone, anywhere. They're happy with seeing those people sent home. They are more upset than anyone about the notion of the ICE secret police rolling up in front of Home Depot, rolling up in front of Circuit City, rolling up in front of wherever, and basically tossing people in the back of cars and taking them away.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Let's continue. There's about 109 in the building. If I can get 109 people to please subscribe and thank you. 109 people, please subscribe and thank you. Continue to hit the like button.
A partial rebuke to Trump's demands to drop the issue.
Continue to hit the like button. Thank you.
Congress deposing Trump Attorney General Barr, who was in charge when Epstein died in custody. And tonight, we actually start our program with a new Beat special report for you, tracing the sordid path of crimes, investigations, corruption, deals with government insiders, often Republicans, the suspicious death of Epstein in custody of the Trump administration's first term, the secretive responses we've been seeing for years across these issues. We're going to show you the new Beat timeline that we've created, reported for the first time tonight, raising fresh questions for Trump and other government officials. We are going to explain this, what you see here coming up in this first segment of the show. A timeline that actually will make more sense, we think, when you recall the facts, how Epstein first presented as an elite, wealthy person with ties to other important people, but then his whole facade showed sudden cracks when local police investigated a report of Epstein molesting a 14-year-old. To government plans to charge him, which were then watered down into a lesser charge under a secret deal with a Republican appointee, Alex Acosta.
Jeffrey Epstein went to jail just before 10 this morning. He pleaded guilty in open court.
There is no argument that Epstein got an extraordinary break. A backroom deal, some have described it.
What was so important to the government that sex crimes described in this agreement were treated so lightly?
Because of apparently some very high-powered attorneys. They've treated Mr. Epstein much differently.
Very differently. The Bush prosecutor who did that largely let the co-conspirators that were under investigation go, and Epstein off the hook with a brief sentence. That prosecutor, later promoted by Trump, we'll get to that, but the evasion of accountability there, under public pressure, was a problem. And so as the pressure built, later, career prosecutors in DOJ, one of whom who was later fired by Trump, then brought the case during Trump's first term, which changed everything. And then we had Epstein suddenly dying in federal custody.
NBC News has learned that disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead.
His body in that van you see there is seen heading for the medical examiner's office.
Found dead by apparent suicide in his jail cell. Jeffrey Epstein's attorneys questioning whether his death was a suicide.
Whatever happened with Jeffrey Epstein in prison back in mid-July still has not been fully explained. That death has spurred more questions and theories than just about anything in this case. And many of the questions are valid. The Trump DOJ was in charge. Everyone knew Epstein was a notorious high-profile defendant, and yet he died. The Trump DOJ prison, their system there, lost the key video footage of Epstein's cell door. It's never been recovered. They also oversaw other blatant failures compounded by more secrecy from the top, all the way up to Trump. And then Trump AG Barr told everyone to take his word that Epstein had just killed himself. That didn't silence the questions that built as years went on, and Trump campaigned for his second term, basically running against his own Epstein secrecy in his first term. AG Barr's successor vowed to fix the Trump DOJ's own past secrecy.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would. Well, that really happened.
It's sitting on my desk right now. This is not the breaking news that you would expect. The FBI and Justice Department say they've found no credible evidence of an incriminating client list.
Everybody knows what came next. Trump DOJ breaking its vow to release more material, then trying to distract by releasing, after the memo there, an alternative hallway video, which has been criticized, but of course wasn't the original correct video that remains missing. All of that stoking the more recent questions we've heard this year. Trump's Epstein summer with blowback from the MAGA base, elected Republicans, Democrats, victims advocates. So now, let's apply full facts so that we can look at these questions. I'm going to show you a timeline here and what we are learning in this case. We're going to look at the recent secrecy, the failures by the Trump administration, why this case has been a failure for justice and governance and transparency, and the history helps reveal links to the current issues, the questions facing Trump as president and as a civilian, because before he was president, he had a sordid history with Epstein. And when we're done walking you through this timeline, you're going to see why so many questions endure to officials linked to Trump, to officials carrying out his priorities at DOJ, all of which has drawn this backlash.
The current DOJ under Pam Bondi is covering up crimes, very serious crimes.
Last week, she put out a 2-page memo effectively declaring the Epstein case closed, which is convenient given the speculation that Trump might be in the so-called client list.
3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration they've had thus far. It's indefensible. It's indefensible that the answers aren't there when so much was promised.
He and his administration keep acting like they've got something to hide.
The Epstein case has many details and open questions.
Like the video, like the video. There's about 87 in the building. Thanks for being here. Hello, South Africa. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. Please hit the like button. Please double tap the screen and thank you.
Our timeline today focuses on the key facts and developments starting in March 2005 when local police in Palm Beach, Florida began a probe into Epstein, investigating reports of abusing victims as young as 14. The local case led to Epstein's indictment for a single count of soliciting prostitution in 2006, not the more serious alleged conduct. In fact, the lead detective in the Palm Beach office referred the case to the FBI to look at the more serious crimes, and those federal investigators began probing allegations. In 2008, Epstein reached a deal with the Bush administration's federal prosecutors to take that local Florida conviction for soliciting prostitution with an adult and a minor. Epstein got a lenient, short prison sentence and an unusual agreement that the Bush DOJ would not prosecute Epstein further or 4 of his co-conspirators or any others. Bush DOJ prosecutors also agreed to keep the deal secret and not inform Epstein's victims about it. The judge later found the Bush DOJ's secrecy deal was illegal, violating those victims' rights. So the facts show from the start, Epstein got this unusual protection from the government in this period, a Republican administration, Bush. And Epstein was a rich, powerful figure. He had ties to people in business and politics. He hired a Republican-connected lawyer, former independent counsel Ken Starr, and served just 1 year in that deal. Now, another 9 years went by, and then the Miami Herald reported an Epstein expose on the allegations of his conduct and that Bush-era prosecutor who cut the sweetheart deal. That investigative report gained traction, partly because of a tie to Trump, who promoted the very prosecutor, Alex Acosta, to his cabinet. The headline at the time hammering how a now Trump official gave a serial sex abuser the deal of a lifetime. And that public pressure from the Herald drove a new federal probe. Internal DOJ reviews would show Acosta had poor judgment in the case, and that the blanket immunity offers for Epstein and others were just indefensible, leading to a fairly swift federal indictment of Epstein on far more serious sex trafficking charges. And the pressure drove the original prosecutor Trump had promoted, Acosta, to resign around this time. And in a key decision, a judge denied Epstein bail, forcing him to be incarcerated before any trial. It was just over a month later, August 2019, when Epstein was found dead in his cell. The situation was suspicious. Officials there broke several protocols. Epstein was a high-profile detainee. He'd been placed on suicide watch, which was then quickly lifted. Guards failed to do required inspections the very night of his death. And a lot of questions were hanging over all of this. So let's go even further ahead, all the way up to 2019 and what happened after that. Because key videos went missing. Trump Attorney General Barr even admitting the prison made mistakes, but claiming that he personally reviewed prison video which showed no one entering the cell. And with Epstein dead, prosecutors turned to a co-conspirator who might have benefited from that original Florida case being shut down.
Good morning, good morning.
They went ahead and indicted Ghislaine Maxwell for helping Epstein's sex trafficking, a case brought by a career prosecutor, Maureen Comey, daughter of former FBI Director Comey. And her work continued on when the Biden administration took over. She won Maxwell's conviction and this 20-year sentence. Then, during the 2024 campaign, The questions and theories about Epstein's crimes and special treatment were heating up on the right. It was a problem for Trump, given that he promoted the original prosecutor, that he oversaw the DOJ, which failed to answer questions or have transparency about whatever happened in that prison cell. So Trump tried to go on offense, vowing to declassify and release Epstein's files. And his attorney general took over that message and advanced it in office, now infamously claiming that she had the client list on her desk, which she later contradicted because shortly after, the DOJ released an alternate video from the prison. But the key video that shows Epstein's cell door is either lost or hidden. It's never been released. And Bondi released the now infamous memo that said they wouldn't provide any other Epstein documents. So Bondi went from saying there was a client list to there wasn't. She was lying then or lying now. The DOJ memo then said there was no other Epstein info that was going to be released, which ignited that firestorm of criticism we all lived through. And given the broken vows, that couldn't hold. Trump soon contradicted his own DOJ's memo in saying he would try to get grand jury material released, but those are limited transcripts. A lot of the big Epstein information is in the Trump DOJ. They could release it anytime. One judge has denied this. And as the Trump administration's contradicting claims drew more heat on its secrecy, the DOJ then sent this former Trump criminal defense attorney to interview Maxwell in prison and then transferred her to a better prison, an apparent reward for the one person doing any time for Epstein's indicted federal crimes. In July, Trump's DOJ also fired the top prosecutor who won the case against Maxwell, Comey, an unusual ousting of a career prosecutor with no public explanation. So what does this timeline show? That Epstein got help and special treatment and sometimes unlawful benefits from the very federal government that claimed to be investigating it. It happened under the Bush administration, with officials later promoted by Trump. The Trump DOJ only picked up the case in the first term after journalists reported those revelations. Epstein's unusual death met with total secrecy by the first Trump term, and the prosecutor who busted Epstein's co-conspirator ousted in the second term, while Trump and other officials made false, sometimes knowingly false statements about this public history. This is a damning account of President Trump's approach to this case in government. And this is a serious governing problem for President Trump and the DOJ and obviously the impacted victims. Even if we learn nothing else about this, it's an open scandal for this administration. And then there are the glaring and inconvenient facts that go back even further before Trump was in government, before the lengthy timeline we just saw. Because as a civilian, Trump had a long relationship with Epstein, who had bought property near Mar-a-Lago, socializing with Trump, engaging in activities, and both men then referring to Epstein's sexual controversies. The two men partied together. They appeared in public and before cameras. This is footage from a Mar-a-Lago event in 1992. Epstein went to Trump's wedding in 1993. And while Trump famously likes his own jet with Trump branding, he found the time and reasons to fly on Epstein's private jet at least 7 times, per the New York Times. Trump photographed with both Epstein and Maxwell in 2000, again at Mar-a-Lago. And the Journal reported about how Trump drew those bawdy sexual references in a birthday card for Epstein, citing, quote, wonderful secrets.
Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 50K by next month. Please hit the subscribe button. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. Continue to hit the like button, please. Hitting the like button is free. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Trump denies this and is suing the Journal over it. He now claims his Epstein friendship was shorter than reported, that they clashed over an employee Epstein had poached from Mar-a-Lago, while other accounts say Epstein was a Mar-a-Lago member until 2007, over a year after that original indictment we showed you. Trump breaking the vow to release more Epstein files, but he's also in them, according to recent Journal reporting. And as for Epstein, he was secretive about any time that the two men might have spent with minors when pressed under oath.
You ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
No, I'd like to answer that question, at least today. I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Legally, these social links alone are not evidence of a crime. They are evidence of a conflict of interest, the kind of link that requires a judge or prosecutor to recuse from a case. But Trump has been doing the opposite, commenting and intervening, his DOJ's actions on Epstein repeatedly putting secrecy over facts, politics over accountability, and, as we saw in the recent controversy, a special transfer and leniency for an actual sex trafficker over justice for the victims. There has been a lot of talk about Epstein, and at the core, this is a case that matters so much to the many people, many victims whose lives were forever altered by Epstein and Maxwell. But you don't need even more Epstein documents, though people are pursuing them, or more facts to understand the the raw outline of this case. Some of it predates Trump, with Bush-era prosecutors cutting a deal with a powerful person and cutting out the victims from even learning about it. But much of it involves Trump, from the personal social links to a government that he is overseeing, that after all of the talk and claims for justice and demands for truth in this sex trafficking case, the big thing the Trump administration has done is continue the secrecy, continue to cut the victims out, and, most astoundingly, help and serve an Epstein sex trafficking co-conspirator over truth or justice for the victims. On part two, expert guests are on hand to respond to our new timeline. We walk through what we have seen from the very first investigation and special treatment and government connections that ultimately benefited first Epstein and later Maxwell in this recent Trump era. For a special discussion on this new report, we're joined by Nancy Erica Smith, a civil rights attorney who's represented victims of sexual assault and harassment, and former federal prosecutor and congressional counsel, John Flannery. Welcome to you both. Nancy, given your experience in this area, what does this now fuller timeline tell us about what's happened?
Well, it tells us that victims of sexual abuse, even pedophilia, don't matter in our justice system, and they never have, especially when the perpetrators are rich, powerful, connected politically. The law enforcement community has ignored victims since the beginning of time and continues to do so. And even in this story, the victims, except for what you just did, are rarely even commented on. It's the intrigue of what happened to Epstein and who was involved. But it doesn't, I hope it matters. The reason it matters is because a lot of Trumpers went down the rabbit hole of QAnon and conspiracy theories about Democrats being pedophiles and having a pedophilia ring in some Washington, D.C. tweets.
Let me jump in and have you continue. Yeah. The political part, in a way, has boomeranged on one party. And you say it sometimes doesn't matter. That's clear. Other times it could matter. We'll show some of the timeline again. From the very beginning, the first deal cut by the Bush federal prosecutor, later promoted to the Trump cabinet, that you see there on that far left, was cut as a secret deal where the victims were not even informed. And many of them feel and say they feel re-traumatized by the last few months, where Maxwell and other activities have gone down with this Trump administration, again, without them, Nancy.
Yeah, and all victims of sexual violence and pedophilia are damaged here, not just Epstein victims who are clearly damaged by what's going on here. I mean, if Maxwell ends up at Club Fed, it's outrageous. It violates even the prison system's own rules. But, you know, Karl Rove, I think, started it, accused them of what we're doing. So they swift voted a war hero for a draft dodger, and now they've accused Democrats of pedophilia when they've really covered up and protected one for the past 20 years.
John Flannery, we'll put the timeline back up and tell us what you think is important here, because as we've done in past with you, the facts sometimes are covered up and lied on, but they can still be powerful when presented.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning.
The synthesis that you put together is among the inventory of breaking news stories that you've organized in the past. And I think that what the answer to Nancy is that she makes a difference. We all make a difference whenever we clear out these people who take advantage of their position so that somebody can be above the law, as is the case here.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Like the video as you guys come in. Thanks for being here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for being here, everyone. Continue to hit the like button. Just double tap the screen to hit the like button. Double tap that screen to hit the like button.
Jim Van Dyke. So Jim, we kind of walked right into your column. Let's read from it. It's titled "The Rising Democratic MAGA Movement." You write, Democrats needing, quote, their own version of a populist, anti-establishment, MAGA-like makeover. So what does that look like, Jim?
Yeah, it looks like what you were just talking about with Gavin Newsom, right? Trying to adopt a lot of the techniques that you saw from Trump, that you've seen from MAGA. Get on social media, be a warrior, curse a lot, try to have a lot of edge, insert yourself into the news cycle. I think the bigger part, though, is what you've seen happening in New York, what you've seen happen in Minneapolis, the popularity of Bernie Sanders, the number of people turning out for AOC events. That right now the momentum in the party is very much for the very progressive wing of the Democratic Party, which is not that much of a shock, but I think is probably problematic in the off-year elections for Democrats. It's just not where the vast majority of the country seems to be. I think it's one of the reasons that the Democratic brand overall is low. And so I think that's an important thing to watch. And in terms of your conversation about the backlash to the bill, to me, this is going to be a really, really important conversation 3 months from now. In 3 months, we're going to know what's happening with redistricting. If Republicans can really rewire the map in a way where they can pick up anywhere from 5 to 10 seats, that is meaningful. That is deeply, deeply meaningful. It's harder in these Democratic states to do it. It's easier in Texas and Republican states to do it. The other is, watch the next month. if inflation does what I think inflation is going to do, it is going to be deeply, deeply problematic for the Republican Party. If you look at what's happening with the stock prices of Chipotle or Sweet Green or any of these restaurants where people take their money when they have a little bit extra and go and spend.
Good morning, Anonymous. Everyone say good morning to Anonymous. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate you always.
They're all tanking. If you look at what you're hearing from Home Depot, your Walmarts, and others, they're basically saying, listen, we've absorbed as much of a loss as we can from the tariffs. Come August, we have to start passing that on to consumers. If that happens in home goods, if that happens in groceries, if that happens in autos, which I think could be the next piece to fall, that is going to make all of this talk about the bill that much more problematic, because you're going to say, wait a second, what Joe was saying was right. They legitimately did get a massive tax cut, especially if you're super wealthy or you're running a big company. And a lot of people who were on Medicaid were requiring these government programs. Yes, there's some fraud, but yes, there's a lot of people who are authentically not going to get benefits tomorrow that are getting them today. That's when this becomes much, much more than a sideshow at one specific event. It becomes a deep, deep systematic problem for the Republican Party.
Well, and Gene, the problem is a lot more than just Jay Powell. You look at two things. You look at the jobless claims, which caused somebody to be fired, and then you look at how hot inflation ran last month. I think it was 0.9. They're expecting 0.2 or 0.3. That's really even before you start figuring out if the tariffs are in fact going to be passed on. A lot of these stores are going to, give up the ghost and start passing on those tariffs. That's a lot of things happening at the same time. I do want to circle back though and just ask a question. Why is it that only progressives can hammer home the fact that Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos should not get massive tax cuts, the biggest tax? I don't understand it. Why are moderate Democrats, they should lead with that. I'll tell you why. Because I'm a conservative. I'm a small c conservative. I am a deficit hawk. I've been a deficit hawk my entire life. I can tell you, small c conservatives, people that like budgets balanced, people that actually don't want government to pass the largest spending bills ever, have just seen this Republican Congress led by the so-called Freedom Caucus pass the largest spending bill ever with the biggest tax cuts for billionaires, multinational corporations, and people who run monopolies in Silicon Valley. That is a conservative issue to exploit. That is a centrist issue to exploit. That is a liberal issue. That is a progressive issue. I don't understand why moderate Democrats can't lead with that as well.
Well, it's a good question. I mean, this is not a hanging curveball, right? This is T-ball. Right. It's just sitting there on the tee, ready to be knocked out of the park. And so you're right that the Democrats who are connecting and who are breaking through tend to be the progressive wing. Now, message always has a lot to do with messenger, and some of the progressives who have broken through are charismatic, talented politicians. Whether or not you believe their views are mainstream, they're good at politics, and they're getting the message through. I guess the second thing I would say is that one thing I believe I have learned in the Donald Trump era is that the labels that we use, progressive, moderate, conservative, paleo-conservative, MAGA, whatever, those labels are fungible. Those labels don't necessarily apply anymore. So there is a lot that progressives are saying that may really connect with a lot of voters whom you would not think of as progressive. Now, there are things that progressives say that probably don't connect with those voters, but...
Hit the like button, hit the like button. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button.
Some concerns. Trump's comments come 1 week after his administration told the museums they would be required to adjust any content the White House finds problematic in, quote, tone, historical framing, and alignment with American ideals ahead of the country's 250th anniversary next year. Earlier this year, NBC News found at least 32 artifacts once on display at the National Museum of African American History and Culture had been removed, including a book belonging to Harriet Tubman. White House officials said yesterday the president plans to extend his review of museums beyond the Washington-based institution, saying he will hold the Smithsonian accountable and, quote, then go from there. Where to begin, Reverend Sharpton? This is a whitewashing of history through the eyes of one man and one movement, telling a new story of our history as a country.
And what is so blatantly offensive about it is the inferences there was some good side to slavery. I mean, people were dehumanized, names taken, families broken up, made to labor with no wages. About 13 years ago, a reporter found my family roots, found out that my great-grandfather
was a slave in Edgefield, South Carolina, owned by Alexander Sharpton. And it occurred to me, I'm named after my great-grandfather's slave master. Even my name is not my name. And on top of that, he was married to Anna Thurman, who was the cousin of Strom Thurmond. So you can't erase this. We're not talking about something that did not happen. How do you do American history without talking about that? Now, you can talk about how there were whites that fought as abolitionists and ended slavery. That's the good side.
That's in the museum.
Which is the emancipation. Yeah. But to act like this talk about slavery is bad is offensive and is also incorrect. And it's just as bad, and I've said this when blacks said they talk too much about the Holocaust. What happens, happens. We need to be honest about it, straight about it, and talk about those that correct it.
Gene, we have a Holocaust museum that talks about the Holocaust. So why wouldn't we have a museum that talks about American slavery, which I think throughout, at least the last 50, 60 years, people on all sides of the political spectrum have seen as the great original sin of American history.
Indeed it was. Indeed it is the great original sin of American history. Like Reverend Sharpton, I have a great-great-grandfather who was named, had to take the name of his owner in Charleston, South Carolina. So he became named Henry Fordham, which is a name that came down in my family. Look, I mean, can we cut to the chase? Can we say this really looks like just naked, out-and-out racism? I mean, how do you take the side that there is that slavery is somehow up for debate, that there was a good side of it, or that we shouldn't just talk about the bad side of it? That is so outrageous, so ahistorical, and so totally offensive, and should be offensive, I think, to every American, because it also minimizes the story of how this nation abolished slavery, eventually took the Civil War, but we did get past that, and we expanded the meaning of all men are created equal, and the story of this country has been a continual expansion of that. That's something we should be proud of, but we should not hide the reason for the Civil War. But Elizabeth, we've never seen a president, to my knowledge, try to do this to our cultural institutions like museums. So what's going on?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I just wanted to say it is so stunning how the president is now, he's going places no president has ever gone with these kind of statements. They're so shocking. He's going beyond what he did in the first term with some of his statements about African countries. And he's just willing to say this publicly, but like as if it's perfectly acceptable, which is remarkable. What he's doing is trying to rewrite history in his vision for the 250th anniversary of America coming up, and he wants to be the host of that, and he wants his version of the story told. I've said this before. He can't wipe out this history that we have. It's part of all of us. We've just talked about part of you, part of Al. It's part of everybody. He can't get rid of it. It's in our scholarship. It's in our universities and so many historians. So it just undermines the federal government, it undermines the Smithsonian, and it just makes them less relevant.
Yeah, I mean, just to re-emphasize something you said, this is not African-American history. This is American history. There is no American history without African-American history.
Well, and look at this. We in law school, we always were warned about a slippery slope. Look at the slippery slope here. We start with attacks against affirmative action, and then we go to attacks against, like, equality becomes a bad word. Diversity becomes a bad word, which of course, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. Diversity is etched in marble in Washington, D.C. It is who we are. As Ronald Reagan said in his farewell speech to America, when he left the White House, it is diversity that makes us strong. It is a diversity that keeps us young. When we stop being diverse, we will stop being strong. And inclusion, against inclusion, right? So we go from attacking affirmative action to attacking equality to attacking diversity, e pluribus unum, and now we're talking about exhibits. By the way, it's not just him; it's his supporters on CNN. The permission structure is being sent around to say, we should talk about how bad slavery was. What? I mean, it sounds like people that are like
Holocaust deniers, right? No, we need to talk about it, and we need to talk about it. Rev and I have talked about this a great deal, because the arc of the American story is extraordinary. What has happened in this country? You want to really tell a great story about 250 years? Talk about how a guy raised in abject poverty became a state legislator in Illinois in 1933 and spent the next 30 years dragging a racist, recalcitrant nation to emancipating Americans, black Americans. And how you have Frederick Douglass at the same time, sort of, going at him, but at times also being an ally with him. And together, they helped bring us out of that terrible chapter in American history. You can talk about, a guy like LBJ, who was opposed in many ways to the 1957 Civil Rights Act, transformed 7 years later to pass those extraordinary civil rights legislation in 64 and 65. That's the story we want to tell. It is a story of a country that continues to move towards being a more perfect union, and sometimes we take some steps back. But it's an inspiring story for future generations to tell. We have to tell that story. It inspires future generations, and no matter what we're going through, we can do better. We can be better.
First off, very well said. Any effort to obscure that story is shameful and, yes, racist. And this is part of a larger effort. I think Elizabeth hit it right in terms of the president looking towards the 250th anniversary next year. That's part of this. But we've seen this now for a few years. Books banned in Florida, efforts to not tell certain parts of the American story. We have seen Confederate monuments being restored throughout the country, including our nation's capital. Confederate generals getting their names back on military bases, although done cutely, too cute by half there. And we have seen also this president push in his administration, lean on the Smithsonian to rewrite their impeachment exhibit. It is a retelling of the American story that is not who we are, and we will not be a better country if we ignore it. You have to learn from your history to grow from it, and ignoring what's come before is not a healthy sign for our present, our future, for our democracy.
I was just going to say, it's Stalinist, right? Just to erase things from history, to take them out of the history books, take people out of photos. And I have to just say, the African American History Museum in Washington is one of the most extraordinary museums truly I've ever been to. I've taken my kids there. The only problem is you need 3 days to really appreciate all of it. And it's exactly what Joe said. It gets to the horrors of slavery, but then the courage of Americans to change and make us better, whether it was Frederick Douglass or Harriet Tubman, and then up through the Civil Rights Movement. And yes, some of the white partners in that movement who had courage as well.
Coming off of Joe's sermonette this morning, I'm a preacher, I can grade that, is that I want to say to my grandson, I have one grandson, 6 years old, next year, 250th anniversary, that the real glory of the story, we were 181 years in slavery when the country was formed. And we got here at Jamestown in 1619. But we went 100 years after 1863. Martin Luther King did I Have a Dream at the Lincoln Memorial. Talk about a dream. 40 years later, we elected a black man president. So we went from that story. That's the story. As your congregation says, preach it. That's a story we want to tell. That's right. And that's the glory that all of us want to tell our children. Yes, it was bad, but it was made good, and this is the story. But to whitewash the story is to deny those that pay to turn this country the way it should go.
Amen. I think we can all say amen.
Like the video. Let's continue with hot topics, trending topics. Let's be very clear. There's a lot of us, our parents dealt with a lot of concerns in regards to slavery and race concerns. Some of our parents dealt with that. Don't get me started. Okay, so if you guys did not know, many people are talking about this Ozempic situation and they're facing lawsuits. Let's get to the clip. Hold on. I'll have to go back and find it. Okay, right now, Monique and T.S. Madison, they're talking about Tyler Perry and Oprah again. What Monique is basically saying, she knew that Oprah was going to interview some of the family members. She's repeating it again. She made it very clear she did not know that her mother and her father were going to hit that the stage to do the interview. There was things that her mom said she wished never would have went out, because there's people that are approaching Monique basically saying your mother isn't anything. Look at how she's talking. Look at how your dad is talking. She just did not know her parents were going to be there. So Monique, once again, is talking about Oprah and Tyler Perry. I can't play the video because I think this is T.S. Madison's podcast, but definitely go over to Neighborhood Talk and listen to the podcast. We'll let you see what that says. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. We're just doing some hot topics, trending topics. Okay, so I want to say about a week or two ago, there was a post that made it seem like, this is the post down here, made it seem like, okay, is Jason and Tiffany Haddish about to have, or do they have a child together? I think that might have been a distraction in regards to what was going on in regards to where he is. What is he ran? He ran for office of some sort. I think that was a distraction regarding that. I do. Let's continue. We're just doing some hot topics, trending topics. It's being reported that Kanye West dropped 35 mil. You can see where it's at in regards to like a Los Angeles mansion. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Kanye. If you did not know, he's also releasing a documentary. We're just doing some hot topics, trending topics right now. This was a trip. There's a pizza guy about to deliver a pizza, and the lady is at the door, and she's literally about to hit the pizza box. Watch. This is concerning. She literally flips it, and he's kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? Then she goes into her apartment. It looked like he was about to, and then she went into her apartment. It looked like he was about to get her. And then she was like, no, come on in. Come on in. So could you imagine having a pizza guy and your ring cam catches everything? You can tell he is mad. He is furious. He is ready to go in. So there's that. There's alleged 12-year-old who built a video game that tests your IQ. Do a lot of people know what their IQ level is? A lot of people know what their IQ level is? So there's a lot of young adults doing great things. Yeah, she looked like she was going in her apartment possibly to get something. And I think she was calling him in her apartment so that way she could do something. So even when she walked away, she went to the ring cam of the people saying, yeah, I basically hit the guy with your pizza. Okay, let's talk housewives real quick. Portia Williams and K. Michelle and some of the other women of Real Housewives of Atlanta are in a picture. If y'all don't know, K. Michelle is a singer. She's been on other reality shows. Now it looks like she's going over to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you guys did not know, it's being reported that Kenya Moore will not be returning. And Nene Leakes will not be returning probably ever. Many people were hoping that Nene Leakes will return, but she will not be returning. So many people are surprised that they almost replaced two people to replace Kenya Moore. Kenya Moore should have been smarter than what she did. If you did not know, go look it up. About 8-9 months ago, Kenya Moore decided to do some stuff in her spa. She showed pictures of somebody she shouldn't show pictures of, and people were kind of flipped out. They left the spa in shock of her showing pictures of a young woman and what she was doing at that time. And I have to be general because I have to watch the words I say. So Kenya Moore will not be returning. If you did not know, Portia Williams went through a divorce with Simon. Their divorce is final. Just last week or the week before, there was a lien put on Portia's house. Simon's no longer living there. They are divorced. There was a lien put on the house. The lien that was put on the house is for Simon's attorney. So if Portia refinance the home and put the home in her name, that bill allegedly has to be paid before anything happens. If the house is sold, that lien bill has to be paid, and it is Simon's attorney bill. So Portia's been going through it, baby. She decided to get with that man. She decided to date that man, and now she went through a divorce and has gone through a divorce with Simon, which is a hot mess. Because you remember, Simon was married to somebody else, and then he started dating Portia, and then he married Portia, and then what? Less than 3 years, Portia and Simon went through a divorce. So there's that. We'll see what happens in regards to K. Michelle being on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't really do a lot of reality shows because I think that they don't make or paint the women in a good light. It's so concerning. It's so concerning. Oh, it grows interest? Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me that. Oh, thanks for telling me that. Yeah. So there's that. Portia did not put herself in a good situation. You decide to take somebody else's man. You get them how you lose them sometimes, and then you lose them even worse than how you sometimes get them. But we'll see. I told y'all, in regards to the reality shows, they like when you're going through divorce. They like if you have a lot of failed relationships. They like if you had concerns with the popos, the police. They like if you can't make friends. If you could do all that, and they like if you have a bad attitude. If you could do all that, you could possibly be on a reality show. Some of the women are extremely famous in regards to Bravo stuff. Some of the women are extremely famous, well off. And unfortunately, with the Bravo shows, there's been a lot of divorces. Yes, there has. Many people have gotten divorced. Cynthia Bailey, a few times. Cynthia Peter, Cynthia Mike, Eva, and Mike Sterling, they've gone through a divorce, but maybe not together. Portia's gone through a divorce. Kim and Croy gone through a divorce. I go on and on. Some of these women relationships don't look that great. And then it's the biggest thing. Drew Sidora, my goodness. Who else? There's so many women that's gone through divorce. In regards to the Bravo reality shows. Now, other reality shows might show a decent side of how the family dynamic is, but somehow, some way, there's got to be some kind of conflict. Them talking about each other. This person said that. This person said that. So boring. Blah, 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 blah. That's what the reality shows is. But Bravo loves women that have problems with the law, going through divorce, bad attitudes, can't talk nice to people. That's what Bravo shows are. Many people are saying Bravo's not too far removed from Zeus. And I really didn't like the season with Candy. Candy was doing too much with her products and those women. Didn't like it, didn't like it. I did not like it. I don't do reality shows. I'll cover it briefly. I stay in the know. But a lot of us want family dynamics to be supported, families to be supported. And sometimes these reality TV stars will do anything for clicks and views. And we see that. We see that. These women will do anything for clicks and views, which is concerning. Put your family first. Be safe. Don't break the law. And we see a lot of those concerns. Let's see the views. Yeah, the views are definitely, let's see. Yeah, the views, I'm telling you, Bravo is losing viewership. Now that Nene's gone, Candy's gone, Kenya's now gone. They brought Portia back. They actually released Portia, gave her a show. Go watch Portia Family Matters. Go watch the last 4 episodes. It's jaw-dropping. Portia Family Matters. Go watch the last 4 episodes. Jaw-dropping. So concerning. So there's that. How will K. Michelle do on the show? Are you a reality show buff? I don't really cover it because I don't think they do well, and it's concerning of how the women can't get along, and that's what feeds it. Okay, so the game, showing off his muscles, and Benzino, he always likes to show off his muscles. This was a few days ago. His daughter kind of took over. I'm not going to play the clip because I don't want to get flagged, but his daughter took over. She said, yes, the forehead was not going to change. She talked about her pages. This is Stephen A. Smith's daughter. Very cute. Go watch it. You know, cute, but I can't play it. Okay, these women got arrested.
Number one.
I don't
Number
want to
two,
arrest you guys.
you're not going to arrest us. Number two
So let's
is
leave.
that
We gotta go. We gotta go.
protocol
Let's
is
go.
to
Let's
beat them down for 1 second. Is if we ask you to turn your body
I don't
cam
want to
off.
deal with this. Let's
Okay.
go.
No. I understand you don't want to deal with it, but the protocol is, and your protocol is if I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol. She's a lawyer, so she knows.
Well, that's lawyer stuff, so that's not true. So we gotta go.
No, it is. That's law. I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a Let's go. We're going. Let's go. We're leaving. We're leaving.
Please don't put your hands on us.
Can you get your children out of here? Like, I don't know why.
I'm sorry, what?
Let's go.
Let's go.
They're two full-grown women and mothers. All right.
What do you probably cause to detain me for?
You're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what?
You relax. Sir, she's not doing anything wrong. She's not leaving.
I'm an AG.
Let's go. Buddy, you're not. She's not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being
Okay, do you have any
arrested.
weapons on you?
No, I'm an AG.
Your badge?
You're
You have a badge?
Let me tell you something. You're
Buddy,
arrested.
get the hell out of here. What are you just seriously?
You're arresting an AG. Let me tell you something.
Are you under arrest right now? No.
You're putting me in handcuffs and you're Mirandizing. You're not Mirandizing me.
Relax.
But you're gonna regret this.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret it. I'm an AG.
We will get the license.
Get hands off me.
We will get the license.
No.
We'll get the license. Get out of here.
Now the second woman went in.
Get back right now. Get back.
No.
Get back.
Okay.
All right, go from
Right
this
here. No. I'm right here. I'm right here. Come on, Dave.
No. Stop.
All right.
Dave, I'm right here.
No, babe, please, I'm scared.
I'm right here.
Please come to me.
I'm right here.
No, I'm not gonna find hands on that.
I'm right here.
Let's go.
No, Dave.
Listen, you're overreacting. You're adding charges. You're overreacting. Get in the car.
No. Babe, no.
I'm right here.
Get in the car. Guys, just put her in. Get back, bro. In the car. Get in the car. Get your feet in the car.
I'm right here.
Get your feet in the car.
Dave, I'm right here.
Get your feet in the car. Get your feet in the car. You're a grown adult. You're acting like a...
It took them a minute. Did y'all see? The first lady was like, nope, you gonna regret it. The second lady boyfriend was basically saying, babe, you're making it worse. You're making it worse. Hold on.
Trespassing, you haven't notified us that we're trespassing. Number one, number two. Number one, number two. You're not gonna arrest us. Number two is that
we gotta go. We gotta go.
protocol is to beat them down for 1 second. If we ask you to turn your body cam off. Okay. No. I understand you don't want to deal with it, but the protocol is, and your protocol is if I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol. She's a lawyer, so she knows.
Well, that's lawyer stuff, so that's not true. So we gotta go.
No, it is. That's law. I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a Let's go. We're going. Let's go. We're leaving.
Please don't put your hands on us.
Can you get your children out of here? Like, I don't know why.
I'm sorry, what?
Let's go. Let's go. They're two full-grown women and mothers. All right.
What do you probably cause to detain me for?
You're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what?
You relax. Sir, she's not doing anything wrong.
I'm an AG.
She's an AG. What? You're not. She's not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being
Do you have any
arrested.
weapons on you?
No, I'm an AG.
Her badge is in the car. You want to get a badge?
Let me tell you something. You're
Well,
arrested.
get the hell out of here. What are you doing? Seriously.
You're arresting an AG. Let me tell you something.
Are you under arrest right now? No.
You're putting me in handcuffs and you're Mirandizing. You're not Mirandizing me.
Relax.
But you're gonna regret this.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret it. I'm an AG.
We will get the license.
Get hands off me.
We will get the license.
No.
No. We'll get the license. Get out of here. Get back right now. Get back.
No, I appreciate it. No.
Get back.
Okay.
All right, stop from the car.
No, I'm right here. I'm right here. Come on, Dave.
No. Stop.
All right.
Dave, I'm right here.
No, babe, please, I'm scared.
I'm right here.
Please stop doing this. Please stop
I'm right here.
No, I'm not gonna find hands on her.
I'm right here.
Let's go.
No, Dave.
Listen, you're overreacting. You're adding charges. You're overreacting. Get in the car.
No. Babe, no.
Good, Judy.
I'm right here.
No. Just put her in.
No.
Get back, bro. In the car. Get in the car. Get your feet in the car.
She's strong.
Get your feet in the car.
Dave, I'm right here.
Get your feet in the car. Get your feet in the car. You're going to do like a kid.
Dave, I'm right here.
She is strong as heck.
You haven't notified us, so we're trespassing.
Any other culture, they would not have been able to do all that. The boyfriend was trying to tell her, go, let's go. They weren't listening. They should have left with the boyfriend. He should have dragged them on. Them trying to talk to the cops and trying to say she's an AG. And then the other woman was like, Dan, the boyfriend. Dan was like, y'all should have just been quiet. The girl in the yellow dress was strong as heck. Well, there's that. I'm sure that story's going to unfold a little bit, and they'll probably make a statement. Okay, let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Okay, y'all, what's really going on? China's launching what? Launching what? This is crazy.
Confined to the dark visions of science fiction is now becoming a stark reality. Scientists in China have unveiled a concept that could forever change the meaning of life and parenthood and what it is to be human. A new arms race is underway, not for military might, but for the very process of creation. Here's more.
Like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Imagine a world where the act of pregnancy is no longer a human experience, but a technological one.
Can't do that music.
Artificial womb inside a machine.
Okay, so there's that.
This machine, they...
So go over to Hollywood Unlocked. They'll give you more detail. I can't play that music. Let me see if there's anything else. Let's see. Man celebrates grand opening. Oh, yeah. He has a mobile barbershop. Over the years, she looks so different. Aging well, though. Okay, so this is where Monique is talking about Oprah.
Publicly. The other part with Oprah Winfrey is, yeah, you let me get thrown under the bus and you said nothing. The other part is you mess with my family. You mess with my mother, my father. She called me about my brother, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, Everybody can change. He wanted to apologize for molesting me. ... She said, Monique, would it be okay that he comes on? And would you like to come on? I said, I don't want nothing to do with that cat, but I don't want to get in the way of his blessing. If he's changing, I don't want to stop that. She never said my mother. She never said my father. Now, I know who my parents were because they're both gone. I know who they are. I know my mother's greed. I know my father's greed. And you did not say that you were going to have my parents. Because had you said you had my mother, now we had a conversation, and I said to her, me and my mother are not in a good place. Now, she said some things to me about her mother and father, which I'll never repeat because I'm thinking we're having a sister moment. Yeah. So I shared some things with her about my mother, sometime in tears, and we talking. And then you go put my mother on your show. Yeah, we got a problem. We have a problem. And because it's Hollywood, oh, Monique, just don't say nothing. That's my mother. Yeah. And I didn't want the world to see my mother like that. So now when I'm in the Walmart, when I'm in the store, and before y'all say anything, this was Walmart years ago. Yeah. Okay, this was when they had DEI still going on, shit. I'm in the store, and the elderly women are coming up to me saying, your mama ain't shit, baby. We here for you. That's still my mother. So now I got to look at this elderly woman and say, you got to be respectful. But she watched that woman sit there and support the man that molested me. Me and Oprah Winfrey, T.S. Madison, I thought I was talking to a sister. I did not know I was talking to an enemy. Wow. I didn't know she would take my story and bring my mother on that show. I did not know she would have my drunk father on that show. And my father was getting ready to cuss Oprah Winfrey's ass out because the liquor started getting good to him. So when she said, when did you know he was a monster? My father said, what? At that point, my mother tapped him like, don't do that. Because he'll go off. He'll go off. Yeah, he'll go off. He'll call her names. Mm-hmm. I received what you just said about that because and nobody knows this, but we're having sister conversation right now. The first episode we did here, the podcast, was my test episode, and I did it with my mother. And so my mother started sharing things with me openly about her mother. And it got very heated in this room. And what that let me know was it's unhealed trauma there. Yeah. We could talk about this, but you know what she said when we got her, and I told them in the creators room over there, back here, whatever the producers, we're going to have to scrap some of this. Because my mama is mad and my mother is angry, but this is some unhealed stuff that's going on with my mama. But my mama said as much stuff that went on with her mom, I don't want the world doing that to my mama. Come on, baby. And so because I don't want the world doing that to my mama, I don't want that stuff to air here. And I respect her for that. I told our heart that I need... Like the video. Because I don't want that whatever is going to hurt my mama or hurt our relationship, I don't want that out. So I feel you on what you just said. Like, yeah, me and her said, you and Oprah said in the conversation, y'all shared personal things with each other. And she talked about her, and you even right now saying, I'm not even going to share that shit. Because I talked to you in a sister moment. My integrity won't let me share it. So there's that. Many people are saying Monique does this almost every year. Monique not going to let it go. She felt slighted by Oprah and Tyler. Now, I got to get back into what she said about Tyler. I did hear exactly what she said about Oprah. That Oprah knew how she felt about the mother. And allegedly, Oprah never said the mom and the father was going on the show. So, Monique's making her rounds again, talking about Tyler and Oprah. And she wants everybody to know that she was slighted. So there's that. She was slighted. Okay, was there anything else? This is them showing Beyonce. I don't see anything. I think they were making up something. She wasn't doing anything odd or weird. They were talking about look at her wrist, look at her chin. She looked beautiful. We're gonna move on.
So many people, and I just want you to know
And you really are inspiring so many people. And I just want you to know that you are among those who history will reveal to have been heroes of this moment. So you just stay strong and do what you are doing. You have the right instincts, you are talented, you are principled. And you really are inspiring so many people. And I just want you to know that you are among those who history will reveal to have been heroes of this moment. So you just stay strong and do what you are doing. You have the...
So if y'all did not know, she's been in the Senate for almost 24 hours. We played that clip yesterday. Hold on. Let me see if I can find her talking about what's going on. Hold on one second. That was me yesterday. Okay. Like the videos, y'all come in. Like the videos, y'all come in.
To leave the floor. State Representative Nicole Collier must remain in the state capitol after Republicans required Democrats that fled the state to sign off on a law enforcement escort in order to leave the capitol at all. She refused and spent the night on the House floor because of it. Joining us now from the floor of the Texas State Senate, State Representative Nicole Collier. Representative, thank you for joining us, and I recognize that because you're on the State House floor, the video might be a little fuzzy, but we're glad you were able to join us here. The other Democrats who fled the state with you signed a document saying that they would have a law enforcement escort until votes tomorrow. Why wouldn't you sign that?
Thanks for having me on, Allie. You know, I at the moment that the directive was issued, I felt like it was wrong. It's just wrong to require grown people to get a permission slip to roam about freely. So I resisted, I objected, and the only way I knew how, that's to resist.
You've been there now almost 24 hours. You posted a photo of yourself trying to sleep at your desk. How long are you going to stay?
As long as it takes. I mean, you know, this is the fight that all of us have, and resisting, you know, the end of our democracy, basically. I mean, if we continue to let them take our freedoms, we won't have any to protect. We won't have any to defend. So we got to start, and we got to stop, and we got to push back.
When you talk about the pushback, this all comes after Democrats, including you, pushed back by leaving the state during the first special session to stop the Republican redistricting plan. What made Democrats decide to come back, and what was earned by slowing this process down, given that the maps are now on a glide path in this second session?
Sure. You know, about 2 weeks ago, no one knew the word gerrymandering, but because of the work of the Texas House Democrats, gerrymandering is a household name. We have been able to stop this first special session, and now we're continuing to fight through a legal battle on the floor. But in that process, we have seen Governor Newsom take action in California to neutralize the maps that are being proposed in Texas. So they are fighting fire with fire. You know, what's different now is that, you know, typically they say, take that high road. Well, you know, that high road has crumbled. We're on a dirt road, and we're going to meet them on that dirt road and get down and dirty, just like they are. And so my fellow Democrats are ready to continue the fight with the grit that is necessary to challenge the oppressor.
And yet, these newly drawn congressional maps are most likely going to pass. So what are the next steps for you and your fellow Democrats? And, you know, I'm struck by what one of our reporters who has been all over this story on the ground in Austin said earlier. He was talking about the palpable politics of this moment. And he said, Republicans have really dropped the pretense here that this is about anything other than notching seats for Republicans. And they're doing so in midstream, basically, less than 18 months before the November midterm elections.
Absolutely. We have families in Hill Country, Texas, and the Hill Country who need relief from the tragic floods that happened on July 4th. They have made they're not hiding the fact that they don't care. In fact, they want to put this politics over the people that have been harmed by the tragedy of the floods. And they are ignoring the request of the families who actually came to the Capitol and asked them and pleaded with them to provide relief. Instead, they want to feed their own political ambition and do what Trump has directed. And so I hope that other legislators would find the courage to stand up and say no, and that they are going to represent the people that elected them to do their job.
Texas State Representative Nicole Collier, I'm glad you brought up the flood relief, because that is another key piece of this. Thank you for coming on and talking about it all with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, you guys, we're going to get to this Tamar situation. If you guys did not know, yesterday, Tamar came out and she spoke about having an issue or concern. And many people are wondering what actually happened with Tamar. She was kind of general in regards to her having a concern. We're going to play the clip. It's very vague.
Experience after she says she woke up covered in blood.
I just had to speak about what I was going through.
The reality star opening up about what she went through on Instagram, writing, "I struggled to write this. I was found in a pool of blood with a face injury. I fractured my nose, lost some teeth and mobility. I don't even know what happened to me."
I keep remembering.
How is she don't know what happened to her? Many people want her to make a statement of what happened. Many people are like, prayers go out to Tamar, wishing her well, but how do you not know what happened? Many people are wishing her well, and they're trying to figure out, was she intoxicated? Did somebody slip her something? What really happened?
That tomorrow would have gone on anyway. So why not keep living, keep pushing forward, even when you don't understand, you keep pushing forward.
Tamar now pushing forward amid her recovery, writing, "The way I look at life now is totally different. As my health is on the mend, my mental journey begins."
I make the choice to get up and try, even when I don't feel like getting out of bed, I still make myself get out of bed and keep it moving. You'll never know what tomorrow may bring, and I promise you, it won't be as bad as today.
The singer also relying heavily on her faith, sharing on her IG stories, "Thank you, God, for waking me up today."
It's been incredibly healing.
So many people have talked about Tamar. This was Tamar years ago, talking about how she continues to struggle with stuff. So many
Tamar Braxton details a terrifying.
So many people are saying, what's going on? Why is it so vague?
Near-death experience. Tamar Braxton details a terrifying near-death experience. The singer takes to Instagram on August 19th, sharing that she recently suffered a scary accident, explaining that the details are still murky. She writes, "I struggled to write this, but everyone keeps calling me, and honestly, I can't even really talk anymore. I'm so weak. I almost died Sunday. I was found in a pool of blood from my friend with a face injury." She adds, "As the days go by, the worse it is. I fractured my nose, lost some teeth, and
Okay, what happened? Was she at an event? Did she take something? Was something slipped in her drink? Many people are wondering what and how. Hang in there, Tamar.
The way I look at life now is totally different. As my health is on the mend, my mental journey begins. Pray for me for real. I don't even know what happened to me." E-News has reached out to reps for Tamar for an update and has not yet heard back. Prior to her Instagram post, Tamar posted on her stories, "Thank you, God, for waking me up today." The singer has been busy with a North American tour earlier this year and a performance at Essence Fest in July. The 48-year-old has previously opened up about health struggles, including a battle with skin condition vitiligo. She also detailed how blood clots forced her to quit Dancing with the Stars in 2015.
Yeah, you guys, many people are wondering what really happened. And with her being as famous as she is, does she have video cam recording that shows what happened that day? Is a Ring video cam that showed what happened? Many people are questioning, is she okay? Is she okay? And then it did state that she was with a friend. So what's that all about? Gorgeous. This is, I thought it was Amber Rose. Yes, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So this is Monique talking about Tyler.
And that lie cost me 12 years of my career. 12. And I know that you work for that man. But as I told you before, and I'm going to say it again, until he fixes it, I will not stop, because that's how the market is created. We're too afraid, we're too scared, we're too fearful that you're going to take something from me, so I'm just not going to say anything. Harvey Weinstein is where? He's in jail. Now, that's been going on for decades, but everybody said, let it go. Don't say nothing, which allowed that man to do more damage to women over the decades. As long as I can help it, I'm saying, Tyler Perry, you will not do another, as long as I can help it, because you told a lie. And you feel like you have the God complex, so I ain't gotta fix it. Either you'll fix it in life, or you'll be dealt with in death. It's totally up to you, but I'm not going nowhere. Oprah, I'm not going anywhere until y'all take accountability and fix it. Y'all messed with my livelihood, which messes with my family. Never would I do that to anyone. So until they fix it, I won't back down. Well, let me ask you, what does fixing it look like to you? You see what Lee Daniels did? Mm-hmm. That man walked out on that stage publicly. See, you publicly shamed me. You publicly shamed me. So now you have to publicly fix it. Tyler Perry, you cost my family millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it is a beautiful thing when you tip somebody $3,000. It's a beautiful thing when you give somebody $400,000 because their house burned down. Those are good deeds. However, you know what you did to a black woman named Monique. So all of that, the universe is watching and saying, okay, we see what you're trying to do, but you can't fool us. And I don't believe I'm the only one. Of course not. You don't do that to somebody and it be your first time. You don't, because you're too comfortable in doing it. And when you get that God complex, the universe is watching everything. Fixing it means you apologize publicly, and you cost my family millions. So it's you want to. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Mm-hmm. I'm just deciphering. You want a public apology and you want restitution. Yes, and I say that unapologetically. You were on tape saying what you did to me was wrong. You were on tape. That's your voice, Tyler Perry. You called us. We didn't call you. You said what he did to me was wrong, and he was going to fix it when his movie Boo came out. When did Boo come out? 2016. We are now in 2025, and you've not fixed that. You've not fixed it.
So there's that. Monique has been speaking up and speaking out, and she not going to stop. Full throttle. She been moving ahead. Many people like Tyler. Many people like Oprah. But now she's saying, I'm not going to stop until you apologize and until you financially fix it. Now she's been adding the financial in there. But it's like many people are saying, Monique, why doesn't your husband figure it out? Move on, move forward, let your husband fix the finances, whatever you lost, let your husband get out there and make that money. It don't look like Tyler and Oprah's going to do anything. Okay, Lance Gross, been married for many years, 10 years. That's an amazing. If you guys have not seen King's Court, go watch that. There's many men on King's Court. This young lady is saying, if there's guys that's out there that's very active, some men are showing their true colors in regards to dating. I can't play it. Okay. Was there anything, Terry Crews, not a huge fan. He's been married for many years, celebrating 36 years. Okay, so there's that. Was there anything else I wanted to cover? Amber looks gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, you guys, I think that was everything I wanted to cover. Yesterday was a little light in regards to media. I think it's because kids went back to school, maybe. I think that's what it was. Kids went back to school, parents were busy. Media was extremely light yesterday for a lot of people. But I appreciate you all for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used, permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Thanks, Anonymous, for telling everyone to hit the like button. There's about 83 people in the building. If all 83 people can please hit subscribe, and thank you. If all 83 people hit subscribe, that would be an amazing day for me. Really. 83 subscribers in one day, that would be amazing. So please hit the subscribe button, and thank you. Please hit the subscribe button, and thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We talked Donald Trump, what's going on in the world, how he's trying to rewrite history. Don't get me started on the history stuff. It's being reported that he removed Barack Obama and put him in the hallway. He also removed other presidents that he didn't want to look at. So this whole presidency stuff is a trip. We talk hot topics, trending topics just now, and we covered what's going on with Monique, what's going on with Tamar. Prayers go out to Tamar. Prayers go out to Tamar. Waking up like that and missing teeth. And I don't recall in the letter if she stated she contacted the police. So not only did she have concerns, she had stated a friend was near or by her. So I don't know if the friend experienced some concerns, but how do you wake up like that not knowing? She stated, and she didn't want to tell people what happened. So well wishes to Tamar. That's scary. That's scary. That's scary. So I guess she wanted to put out that there was a concern before somebody else did. So thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. Great day. It's Wednesday, hump day. Have a great one. Be blessed. Goodbye.